First of all, I can say congratulations on a number of fronts. You know, the tour in March from Glasgow through to Wembley. There, the album, which is
there it is
today.
Love that cover.
Out today.
And there's a good feel to it, boys. There's a really good feel to it. And the title, Halfway There. Where are you halfway to?
It's a Year 3000 reference. Our song Year 3000, we talk about the 7th album. And halfway through this, you're halfway to the 7th album.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And we're kind of at that point in our lives as well. We're kind of mid-30s. Kind of feel like we're halfway there.
But you see, there's a few titles on this, Charlie. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, the 90s, reunion, what happened to your band?
Yeah.
All these titles,
All my
nostalgia.
Yeah.
So are there meanings behind these titles?
Definitely. We basically, we ended up going back to the house that we first moved into in 2002.
Which is James's.
James's place.
Yes, but except I was listening to you chatting away there, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking, that must be up in Brixton or something, there'd be a high-rise flat somewhere.
Yeah,
and then I go, no, he said he lives in L.A.
No, that's it's not a house in LA, but it's a house in
I
house
have a place in North London where we started out as a band, and when we all lived there, I ended up staying there, and so we went. I still have it, so we went back there to the building where we used to live.
And with the vibes there, the vibes, the inspiration.
It was, and actually, the songs that you mentioned there, Eamonn, they are. It is a bit more self-reflective on the band's story, looking back over the last 20 years and talking about some of the things that have happened to us as a band.
What do you think, Charlie, when you look back? You know, you're in your 30s now, and you were young lads and boys, and
I was 16.
Yeah.
We had a great time. You know, it's a lot of fun memories. But I think that doing it again now, I feel like we're having a much sort of better time because we're completely in control of what we're doing. You know, and to be honest, this album I think has been a bit of a moment for us, hasn't it? Because I think we've sort of made the album that never was. You know, I feel like this is the seminal Busted album.
But will Busted fans go, oh yeah, it still sounds like Busted?
Yes.
I think this sounds more like Busted than anything we've ever done. You know, it's kind of the seminal kind of Busted album. We went in there purposely to kind of try and make a fan favourite. You know,
This album should be called Busted.
Yeah. We called the first one Busted. I actually, if we could...
You sort of maybe have, you know, you've covered yourself there, haven't you? You know? But you see, Matt, that point that you were making there and Ruth was making there, your fans are still very young. They're probably, I'm sort of working, they're probably in their mid-20s or whatever. And the thing is, they have choices. It's not as if you're, you know, old goats in your 50s and 60s and, you know, you're just reliving your youth. These guys actually have other options in their mid-20s to choose from in music. So is it a question of giving them what they want, knowing what they want, still being relevant to them? How do you see the relationship between you and them?
I think it was that was kind of quite a driving force to make this record, because when we started writing it, we actually scrapped about 3 albums worth of material. We were kind of writing songs. I think we were in the studio kind of trying to find out where Busted was relevant in today's kind of market. And then we just went, you know what, forget that. Let's just write a really great album that we love.
That we love,
And actually our fan base will love that because it's very much us.
Let me ask you about your friendship, because we had Bros in last week, and obviously they
hate each other.
They don't. No, but this was the thing. If you watch the documentary, they said that it's really not about their relationship as brothers where they fall out. It's their creative differences where they fall out. The fact they're brothers is almost irrelevant sometimes. It's very relevant because they're brothers.
The documentary, though, you can see, though, that their communication is just, you know, there's a lot of like pent-up stuff, and the part that comes down to them, I think, not talking openly about what they really feel, and then when they do talk, you can see they love each other, they're brothers.
So do you relate to that? So, you know, obviously Busted, you split up, you got back together, so do you now talk about your creative differences? And when you were younger, did one of you flounce off and sulk? Is that where the problems start?
Well, I think with us, I think we're a completely different dynamic to Bros. I think it's true, like, all creative relationships are similar in that they go wrong if it's not like a certain way. But I think with us, I mean, communication's always been like a big part of, you know, when it goes well. I think this album, our communication was at its best, so we made our best work.
And you're still mates. I mean, you've been mates, like you said, since your teens.
Yeah, I mean, we went for a while without really seeing each other because we ended up doing very different things. But when we got back together, there was never any sort of animosity to get over. It was very much like we just needed to get to a point where we were on the same creative page, and then when we were at that point, it was all good, you know?
But Matt, what does it feel like this time round? You know, you're turning the clock back for the fans in a way. They're loving it, you know, and hopefully they'll turn out in force to all those arena tours that you have there. But for you guys as well, what does it feel being back? You said there we were worrying about being busted, and then we thought, just do it. You're now in your 30s.
Two of you are daddies now.
Yeah, my son's birthday today, my 1-year-old.
Oh,
happy birthday, Jago.
And would you say it's any more chilled, any more relaxed, any more like you're thinking you've got another bite of the cherry, you're going to enjoy it more? What's the thinking?
I think it's kind of all those things. You know, it's kind of I think being in a band gives you an excuse to live a completely different life to anything else you do. You know, like, I mean, you kind of have your day-to-day life and then you have a band, which is completely different. Yeah. So luckily, we kind of get to live both. We kind of get to go home and then we get to hang around with these guys, and that's silly. Completely.
You know. What's your ambition for this?
I don't know, man. We'd love to have a number one.
I do. I really want a number one album.
You really want that?
I really want. Busted haven't had a number one album.
Ever.
I've had two number twos.
Top fives, weren't we?
We had two number twos, and we're kind of like, we really want a number one album. And today we're number one.
Yeah. Well, Matt's had two number twos and he wants a number one. Okay? Please. Matt, Charlie, James, thank you very much indeed. So lovely, and every success. They're in Glasgow, they're in Cardiff, they're in Manchester, they're in Birmingham, they're at London, Wembley, all through the last week of March.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.